Do you want to learn the great story of Earth? First, let's go back to our blue planet's birth. Forever ago, our universe began, but it did not start with a child, woman, or man. A flash in the skies was called the Big Bang, and from one tiny speck, stars and planets sprang. Billions of years later, things became alive. We needed evolution before humans could thrive. First came simple organisms, and they grew and they grew. And as the years passed, these things changed too. What first was simple then became complex, and planets and animals and humans were next. When humans evolved and then walked on 2 feet, they needed some words to use when they would meet. They put sounds together and soon found a way of talking amongst themselves all through the day. This was called language, and you speak one too. You might even speak several, as polyglots do. It surely was great for them to communicate, but the earliest humans had more tasks on their plate. They had to stay warm and cook food on the pyre. For both of these things, they needed a fire. Controlling the fire meant that they jumped ahead and the race to be humans as we know them instead. After cooking with fire became understood, humans discovered something else good. We found new ways to learn about the world, and one became a subject known to many boys and girls. This was mathematics, or math for short. With math, we can use numbers of every sort. It took thousands of years before we branched out, traveling here and there and wandering about. Early humans from Asia prepared to set forth to reach what we now call the Americas in the north. They used a land bridge called Beringia, now extinct, that once took the 2 continents and made them both linked. Then an idea would come from the skies. We wanted to know about how a star flies. Soon we got better at working with math and used it to track a space object's flight path. We didn't just learn about our Earth, our place of birth. We discovered the movements of planets in space. We learned many things about how to build too, finding all sorts of ways to make structures look new. These ways are called architecture, and we use them today. They're in the house where you sleep and the park where you play. We finally stopped fretting about our survival. We humans can now think about our arrival. We asked, why are we here on this green and blue sphere? And philosophy kept asking questions year after year. But life becomes harder when we are sick. We needed health care to heal ourselves quick. Egyptians made medicine, and they didn't quit until vaccines and surgery could keep us healthy and fit. As people got better, inventions did too. Math got even greater at solving problems for you. From China came a calculator. It was pebbles and wood. But the abacus did math faster than pen and paper could. After this time, there was lots of connection. The Silk Road crossed the world in one long direction. All along this huge path, people traded their stuff. They came from all around the world. They couldn't get enough. We still trade here today, but now we use trains. We use some boats too, and lots of airplanes. Groups from all over gain more and more strength, growing their lands with great width and great length. These were called empires, those powerful states that ruled parts of the world for a long range of dates. There are several to note, each with a wide span. These empires were Roman, Mali, and Ottoman. We soon invented more dangerous things, one very strong tool that could fight against kings. A Chinese inventor shook the world and made it rattle when they created gunpowder, forever changing the battle. Then the very first book to be put on a shelf was a short Buddhist tale on improving yourself. The Diamond Sutra came from India, traveled around, and somewhere in China is where it touched down. Printed in Chinese in the year 868, reading its words might just tell you your fate. Reading can help us think about life, but it didn't stop some times of true strife. A group called the Mongols began to use war to conquer more regions, some near and some far. Americans had a war with an early type of gun. These were called muskets when this war had begun. 2 Americans spied because they had information to get. They were James Armistead and Marquis de Lafayette. Since Americans under British control were feeling skittish, this information helped them get independence from the British. Not everything in the world's history was good. Some people used slavery, though nobody should. But a man named Ulado Iquano, born a slave, wanted to tell his story, and he was truly brave. So he sat down and wrote a very special book, knowing it could help people change their outlook. The interesting narrative of the life of Ulado Iquano, it was called, and when Europeans read it, many were appalled. Though it was just one book, it was eye-opening and clever, and it played a big part in ending slavery forever. Far away in Haiti, slaves gave injustice a jolt when they carried out their very own revolt. Europeans made Haitians work, and the cruelty showed. They never paid the Haitians what they were owed. The Haitians won their independence because they fought back. The chains of slavery were beginning to crack. Many years passed, and our technologies grew. You know about technology because it impacts you. You play games and apps and see videos on sites. But we didn't always have screens to light up our nights. For computers to run, we need algorithms in place, and our very first programmer was Ada Lovelace. Technology connects us today like railroads did way back when. But there was one big problem. The trains kept breaking back then. We were lucky to have a man named Elijah McCoy, whose great train invention brought the world joy. The lubricating cup helped the trains keep going, no matter how far they went or how hard winds were blowing. In and out of trains, we needed light to see. Lucky for us, 2 men gave us the key. Thomas Edison made a light bulb that often would stop, but Lewis Latimer made one that wouldn't soon pop. He added a part that made bulbs last to their prime. Now we can read in the dark for a very long time. We also can travel more quickly in style. A car makes a walking trip take a short while. Inventor Carl Benz gave us vehicles like these, but then Garrett Morgan let us use them with ease. He gave us something colorful and bright to make driving safer, the traffic light. Now with cars, guns, and planes, another war came. So big it was worldwide, putting all other wars to shame. We called it World War II, and the effects were not pretty. New nuclear bombs could destroy a whole city. The world was split between the Axis and the Allied, and the Allies they won to their very great pride. Across the world, capitalism and democracy would unfold, replacing other systems both new and quite old. That war gave us computers, but without screens or color, so it wasn't as much fun for us to share them with each other. But a man, Mark Dean, worked at a company called IBM, and he gave computers color screens so we could enjoy them. We also started enjoying video games. Such wonderful fun. Jerry Lawson made consoles so we could play a ton. Then Shigeru Miyamoto invented great games at Nintendo. One was called Zelda and the other was Mario. Technology became better at letting us chat, and we have Marion Croak to thank for that. She worked at a phone company and created VoIP, which lets us talk over the internet, you see. Technology helps us in all sorts of places, and here is one of our most amazing cases. In some places on Earth, there isn't clean water to drink, but Beth Kiyogi from Kenya sat down to think. She used technology to take air from the sky, and made it into drinking water for people to try. Now you know lots, so it's your turn. In the history of Earth, there's much more to learn. And you, young viewer, have made a great start by being curious about our world and what sets us apart. The future is in your hands, so what will you do? The future, dear viewer, is all up to you.